Hi there, I'm Caprice Stallings and I'm a mental health counseling intern. And I was asked to do a launch video for our final project and discuss what type of client I'd like to work with and how I would help them. Of course, there are many clients that I would enjoy working with, but for the sake of this exercise, I would like to talk about working with the military client, a client who has transitioned from military life into civilian life. And of course, I have a big place in my heart for the military. I feel like their sacrifice is great, and I appreciate it, and I want to be there for them because I feel like our society, in many ways, do not give them ample ways to transition from one lifestyle, the military lifestyle, which is very rigorous and demanding and dangerous and full of purpose and camaraderie, and then they matriculate out into civilian life where everything completely changes. And I feel like there needs to be a transition period for them. But as far as working with the military client, I would approach them like any client as far as like history taking and see if there's any family of origin issues that need to be addressed, any trauma in childhood, or any significant developmental issues. Attachment piece is always important to see, if what their relationship was like with their parents, and also I would really love to work with military people who've experienced PTSD and trauma, because I feel like they're often overlooked and disregarded by some, but they gave their life in service to protect us and were injured, and we have ways to help them in the mental health community. There's two systems of therapeutic modalities that really are good for the military client, and that is the EMDR and the accelerated resolution therapy. EMDR is eye movement desensitization reprocessing, and what it does is it helps anyone with PTSD. And the way it works is that EMDR posits that at the moment of a traumatic experience, your brain records your five senses, what's happening in that traumatic moment. For example, say that there was an explosion and the client was, the military client was injured, and in that moment there's smoke. So they smell smoke, they see the firing, they see the blood, they hear the sounds, they taste the dust, and whatever they're hearing, smelling, seeing, tasting, and even their mental conceptions are recorded in that one traumatic memory. And what happens later on in life is that they hear a sound, a smell, a taste that triggers that memory, and instantly they're in fight, flight, or freeze. And that's where the PTS comes in, which is very damaging to their self-esteem, their psyche, and their peace of mind. Through EMDR or ART, we can go in and we can, through bilateral stimulation of eye movements paired with therapy, we can actually remove those triggers and help lessen the triggers of a traumatic senses. We can remove that actually from the memory. The memory will stay intact, but the unpleasant thoughts, feelings, and somatic issues with that memory can be erased and have been erased, and I've seen this with many clients as well. Apart from the trauma work, I'd also like to work on, I'm from the Gestalt modality. I kind of blend Gestalt, EMDR, and experiential therapy, because I believe that as far as the Gestalt model goes, that is, people are holistic in nature, and to achieve like wholeness or mental health, we need to be integrated and in contact with ourselves, which is just a fancy way of saying being present. Be able to be present in the moment without being disassociated from your body and kind of like floating around like you do when you're driving. You're driving, all of a sudden you realize you've drove 10 miles and you don't know where you are. That's disassociation. But sometimes people go through their entire days, weeks, and even lives disassociated, and that is to teach them how to have contact with themselves and others, and to re-own any disowned parts. And sometimes through society, especially someone from the military, that they're in one sense in the military, they're applauded for their bravery and for protecting. They come back in society, and then they're scrutinized by some for using a firearm or for that. And so a lot of times they'll disown parts of themselves that they actually need to reintegrate. And so I would do parts work with them, and I would do, of course, EMDR for the trauma, attachment work, and I always do inner child work. I think that's important for any client. But that's how I would basically conceptualize working with this client. There's, obviously the empty chair technique is very important, but the brunt of my work for the military client would be with the EMDR and the ART to help heal that brain and heal those memories so that the negative cognitions can be reduced. And I'm excited to work with them. I've worked with them in the past, and I was very honored to do so. And I'm excited to work with more military clients in the future. Thanks so much.